Miami Dolphins scrape out a victory against Washington in a game that probably could have lost multiple times. We're going to talk about that. What is up, Finn fans? Dolphins get a W, not a good one, but they still get the W. Mike McDaniel's job is saved for one more game, because if they would have lost this game, he might have been fired. We're going to talk about all that and the stats real quick. Do want to shout out the sponsor, which is Sleeper. Go check them out. Use the promo code DDW. You get 100% up to $100. And if you want to give it a try on your first try, you get a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So let's go over stats. Marcus Mariota, 20 for 30, 213 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 late interception that kind of won it for the Dolphins. Rodriguez, 15 carries for 79 yards. Their leading receivers, Deebo Samuel, 7 for 74, and the touchdown. Mike Ristel had the fumble on a punt that helped the Dolphins. Actually didn't help the Dolphins, and I'll talk about that. 3 sacks on the day, 1 from Jonathan Jones, 1 from Jacob Martin, and 1 from Von Miller. I completely forgot that Von Miller was on Washington. And then Tua Tagovailoa, 14 for 20, 171, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Devon Achane, 21 carries for 120 yards. Ollie Gordon, 9 carries for 45. We ran all over him. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches for 52 yards, targeted 7 times, had a bunch of drops. Ethan Bonner with the fumble recovery on the muffed punt. Terrell Dotson with the only sack on the defense, and Jack Jones with the interception that essentially sealed the victory for the Dolphins. When it comes to team stats, they had more yards, total yards. They had more turnovers. They had more first downs. We had more penalty yards. They had more third down conversions. They had more fourth down conversions, which I will talk about. They didn't do well in the red zone, 0 for 3. We were 1 for 5, and they had better time of possession. So this game was sloppy game. We were marching down the field on a bunch of offensive drives that ended up, ending in field goals. I think at halftime it was 6-6. It was just, they had 2 missed field goals. If not for their 2 missed field goals, we would have lost this game. Easily lost this game 19-6, 16, or even lost this game 16-13, because Mike McDaniel decided to go for it on 4th and goal, down on the goal line with like a minute something left in the game, and we got stopped. The dumbest decision. He decided to go for it on 4th and goal 2 times. So not only did they miss 2 field goals, but the Dolphins decided to go for it on 4th and goal and got stopped both times, essentially giving them the ball back. And I think they even went for it on 4th and goal, and Zach Ertz slipped. So it was just, both of these teams are bad, and there's a reason. One of them is 4-7, one of them is 3-8. But before the game even started, we were both 3-7. Both of these teams were just undisciplined. Washington was able to move the ball on us very easily. Thankfully, we got some stops here and there. We were able to move the ball on them, but again, we were making dumb decisions on 3rd and 4th downs. This is, again, if we would have lost this game, this is where Mike McDaniel probably gets fired. I want to play a quote for you from Ian Rappaport, and I will talk more about this during the week. But this is what he had to say about Mike McDaniel and Tua.
I think it's fair to say, we'll start with the Mike McDaniel future here, because that one
This was before the game.
Sure is in question. A rough start for the Miami Dolphins. You mentioned it, Chris Greer, the general manager, fired. Now, my understanding of where it goes from here for Mike McDaniel is that owner Stephen Ross wants him to continue to be the head coach, has supported him, has invested in him, believes in him, if at all possible, would like McDaniel to continue. That's going to be decided by how the players respond on the field. Is this locker room still behind him? Now, they got a good result last week, beating the Bills pretty badly. If that continues, sure, it is possible Mike McDaniel could stay for next season. If that happens, there is a much better chance that Tua Tagovailoa, his quarterback, is the quarterback next year as well. And yes, they do have $54 million fully guaranteed to Tua. If they wanted to move on from him, they can. Teams have done in the past. Russell Wilson, the most noteworthy example. But it is fair to say these two futures are tied together. There is no bigger champion in the Dolphins building for Tua than his head coach, Rich.
So again, you're hearing a lot of ifs and possibles and this and that. If the Dolphins would have lost this game, which was a very real possibility and came down to being a play or two away, I don't think Mike McDaniel would have made it to the Saints game. I think he would have got fired, especially losing the way they did. There was the high off of coming off with the Buffalo win, and I said in my preview, you can't take that for granted. And it seems like they did, because they came out real cold, real sloppy with penalties and a bunch of dumb decisions. Juju Brent gets hurt. Devon Achane gets hurt, but he goes back in, thankfully. Wasted timeouts. Like, we call a timeout this last series right before kicking a field goal, like the play clock going down to 0. We had delay of games, again, the play clock going down to 0. All of this stuff is because of your head coach, Mike McDaniel. So again, we win, we eke out a victory against a bad team who has lost now 6 straight, when they very easily could have beat the Dolphins if their kicker didn't miss 2 field goals and if Zach Ertz didn't slip on a 4th and goal. Got lucky on this one. Now we got to bye. We're probably going to get Austin Jackson back. We're probably going to get Darren Waller back. I don't think we're going to get James Daniels back anytime soon. But then the Dolphins have the Saints and the Jets, and the way they played against the Commanders, you can't really look at the Saints and the Jets and say, oh, we're going to win those games. And then we'll get to, the one game under 500 and see what we do Monday night against the Steelers and da-da-da. Nothing's guaranteed with this team, because again, you watch them play today, and you watch the decision making on Mike McDaniel and how at some point he abandoned the run and then realized, oh my gosh, let's go back to the run. And hot mess, complete hot mess from this team. A lot needs to be fixed, and I have videos planned talking about that. Apparently, who said it? Someone came out and said that the Dolphins general manager position is a hot commodity. Diana Rossini said the Dolphins general manager opening is getting a lot of attention from around the league. Sources say Miami's vacancy is viewed as an exceptional front office opportunity by seasoned GMs. So if that's true and the Dolphins get a pick of who they want, and again, I'll make a full video breaking this down. I'm going to make a full video breaking down why they would keep McDaniel and Tua. Then you got to let that new GM who's coming in make these decisions. But the Dolphins win. I'll talk about where they're at when it comes to draft picks tomorrow, because right now they won, so they're 4-7, which puts them at 11 when it comes to draft picks. But everyone's got to play today, so people can move down, up, all that stuff. But they win, and as they win, they go further down the draft order. So we'll see how all that pans out. Right now, Tennessee's your probably clear favorite to get the number 1 overall pick, with New Orleans behind them and the Jets behind them. So we'll see how all that pans out. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think of this ugly victory. I will see you tomorrow, unless some surprising news breaks, but I'll see you tomorrow kind of talking about more about this game. And then Tuesday, I'll do the film breakdown, add it on to something else. And then I have a bunch of videos planned for you during the bye week. So enjoy the bye week, watch some football, and then we'll be back watching them take on the Saints at home. If they lose that one, Jesus, Lord help us all. But like usual, stay classy. FN's up.